All right. Hello. It is December 11th at 1 p.m. in Japan. Sorry about that. It's a little glary out back, so I always shut my little screen there. Hello and welcome to Satsang, Mayan Satsang, with Crispy and Cacao. Oh, this will be my second mug today. I had a very fruitful DJ session right here. I have to use my computer here. It hooks into this, so you can't see that right now because this is my computer. Fascinating. All right. So yes, let me further open my heart to you all. I brought the spoon today because things tend to settle after a while, and I don't like to drink it all at once. Cacao is a heart-opening substance. Used by the Maya for, let's just say, 3,000 years. Who knows, right? Oh, wow. And used by many other cultures. I believe there's information that cacao came up from Peru through Central America, like the Costa Rica region, and into Mexico. I have heard that from knowledgeable people who actually study these things. So it did not originate in the Mayan lands, but it is there that the Spanish people first drank it because the Maya gave it to them. Here, drink this. And they're like, oh, I like that, but it needs some sugar and we need to strip all the nutrients out of it. That wasn't, yeah. And add low quality milk. Yeah, and sell it for lots of money. Oh, silly humans. True story, though, in a way. So before I actually open the ceremony, I'll take another sip. And then open the ceremony and bring you over to experience that a little bit more closely. Here I need to open the window because I will be burning some sage, and you probably know this, but if you use sage to cleanse energetically, you must open a window so that what you're clearing has somewhere to go. So here we go. I got this new fancy, it's kind of like a lighter, but it's more for camping. If you got to light the stove, you know. Whoa. So by lighting this candle, I am entering ceremony. And by lighting this candle, I'm honoring the divine past wisdom guide of today, which was 8 days ago on the Mayan calendar, and I will be talking about that. Oh, yes. By lighting this candle, I'm honoring the divine feminine in all creation. By lighting this candle, I'm honoring the divine masculine in all creation. By lighting this candle, I'm honoring the divine future vision guide for today. Now, these lovely little candles are precisely 20-minute burners with no particular smoke, no aroma. And this rock I have used for thousands of these ceremonies. Isn't it just the perfect little rock for this type of thing? And by burning this sacred sage, I am giving thanks to Mother Nature, to Goddess Sophia Gaia, and to all of the glyphs and all of the tones of the divine Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. Thank you, Imish, Ik, Akbal, Kan, Chikchan, Kimi, Manik, Lamat, Muluk, Ok, Chuen, Eb, Ben, Ish, Men, Kib, Kaban, Etznab, Kawak, Ahau. And thank you, Hun ka osh kan ho wak uk vajak bolon lahun hun lahun kalahun osh lahun. I'm also giving thanks to the god Itzamna and the god Chakmul, and all the male deities of the divine Mayan pantheon. We receive your energies. We give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. I'm also thanking the goddess Ishchel and the goddess Cacao. This is a cacao leaf, cacao pod, and cacao bud. And all of the female deities of the divine Mayan pantheon, I receive your energies. I give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. I'm also giving thanks to the 9 lords of Xibalba, the 9 lords of the underworld, the 9 lords of death, the 9 lords of rebirth, the 9 lords of the night, the 9 lords of dreams, the 9 lords of nightmares, the 9 lords of illness, the 9 lords of recovery, the 9 lords of the underworld, the 9 lords of Xibalba. I receive your energies. I give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. Today I'm also giving thanks to the divine Mayan Tzolk'in itself. Whomever, wherever, whatever you are, I receive your energies. I give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. And today I'm giving thanks to my spiritual father, Kinish Hanab Pakal. He watches over me. I am here to do his work. I receive his energy. I give it to Gaia, and Gaia gives it back to you. Today I'm giving thanks to the interdimensional multi-dimensional, intergalactic, multi-galactic Maya, who precede the birth of this earth, who deliver their message to any planet that is ready, willing, and able to take the divine Mayan Zolkin, meaning they have a bipedal 20-digit conscious life entity on that planet who can grok the significance of the Zolkin. They came here perhaps 5,000 years ago to bring it to the people that we now call the Maya. I receive your messages. I give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. And today I'm giving thanks to the Hunabku, the one and only giver of movement and measure, the great central sun and black hole at the epicenter of the Omniverse, the maker and modeler of all things physical and all things non-physical. Heart of earth, heart of sky, heart of humanity, Hunabku. I receive your energies. I give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. And now the ceremony is open. And I would also like to state for clarity, the sake of clarity, that I, through this sacred sage and sacred eagle's feather, am cleansing myself of any residual and any negative energies. I'm cleansing you of any negative and any residual energies. You are fresh, you are here, you are now. Only beings of love, light, and truth may enter this ceremony. All other beings must leave now. All right. Oh, let me close that blind. Blind, 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 blind. Name that song. Title's pretty easy. Name that performer, singer, creator. Yeah, what's his name? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, I hope you have cacao. I hope you're joining me. All right. Yes. So today, like every day, is special. I should just sit here and drink little spoonfuls. Okay, so why is today special, Crispy? Well, let me just show you through my PowerPoint. There we are. Now here's a little tip I learned. Just make that incredibly small so no one can really see what's coming, because you don't really want them to see what's coming, do you? You can also make it big screen, whole screen if you like. You can keep yourself right here so that you when you're looking at you, you're basically looking at the camera. A lot of people do Zooms and they're looking at the person they're speaking to, or they're looking at themselves down here. And so now I'm looking at myself and I'm like, how am I doing here? Oh yeah, it's all good. Yeah. Need a haircut, whatever. So yeah, here's today, right? Whoa. You should be going like, wow. Patient is tone 9. There's 5. Don't look at this part, just look at this part, okay? That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what it represents. The bar, actually, it's more like this, okay? So it's the whole hand. The bar means all 5. You got 4 and there's 5. So yeah, you can do it like that. That's a little more representative. Sure. Good one, Crispy. You're learning as you go. So 9. Why is 9 patient? Well, that's just one of the key code words, but it became the name, if you will, title. It's possibly the most applicable key code word of tone 9. You see, when the system came into me, there were already many existing versions of the Mayan calendar. And what we have to recognize is that the Maya were a group that, if you include the Aztec, which I do, and even the Toltec, although the Toltec, even though they are the same culture, this is my feeling, they abandoned the calendrical perspective when, and I believe this is true, I have no idea, but it's what makes perfect sense to me, when the Spaniards came. So about 500 years ago, the Toltec, who were probably living in Tenochtitlan, which is now Mexico City area, Teotihuacan, probably living around there, and they saw what was happening with the invasion, and they're just like, fuck this shit. And they went up to northern Mexico, which is around Real de Catorce, the Royal 14 area where they live. And they became the Toltec, and they became the peyote people. By the way, where's that book? That's such a good book I have. Oh, yes. If you're really interested in the culture, and the title's down there, and that's what I'm trying to show you. Heart of the Deer. These are the Toltec people, okay? Let me just stop the share for a little bit. This book, this is Toltec, all right? And the Toltec rituals are the peyote. So that's how they got so smart. They reduced their ego through this plant. And the Maya used magic mushrooms and other herbs and things. And another thing that they did, possibly still do, not sure, is fasting. They would not eat for 3 days before a special event like the upcoming solstice, which is 10 days from today. And their kings and or queens and or highest ranking shaman would do those fastings, and then on the day of the event they would drink the magic mushrooms and or other substances, and or they would take a brew of magic mushrooms and or other substances and, how do you say this, put it up their butt. It's been proven. They found evidence. The reason for doing that is so that you bypass the potential for stomach upset, which means the potential for, vomiting, which can happen absolutely with any one of the earthy psychedelics, especially ayahuasca is famous for that. I did. I hurled. And on magic mushrooms, I don't think I've ever thrown up. I'm not sure. But what this should tell you is that they were taking very large amounts. So imagine fasting for 3 days, just water or tea or something. Yeah. All right. So you're already in an altered state. Then imagine taking a large enough amount of magic mushrooms that if you drink it, you hurl. So you stick it up your butt. And then let's say 2 hours later, when you're really high, you take something very sharp and you pierce parts of your body. The women most commonly, apparently, we have lots of pictorial evidence of this that the Maya created for themselves. Google it. I'm not going to alter this video in order to find it for you, but you can yourself. Just Google it. The women would pierce their tongue. And apparently they had a string, or this could have just been what ended up in the art. I think sending a needle, as it were, it's apparently a stingray spine from the ocean. The stingray, the spine is super sharp. I think sending that through just on its own would be quite effective enough without the string. And the men, do you know this story? The men would take that very thin, very sharp stingray spine, and they would put it through their penis. And in both cases, they would have a sacred device, bowl, excuse me, and sacred paper, special paper, to catch the blood. And then, usually their peers are surrounding them. Then they take that paper with their blood on it, and they burn it. And the smoke gives them visions, and guess what? Even if they didn't burn it, they'd probably be tripping balls. But their own blood tied into the ceremony and situations gave them visions, and then they would make a pronouncement, which would be done publicly. So this bloodletting ceremony was usually done behind or inside a room, possibly at the very top of a pyramid. And here's one of the most crucial differences between the Mayan pyramids and the Egyptian pyramids. The Egyptian pyramids, pointy, No stairs, no rooms. Basically, keep out, except for an incredibly select group who had special access. Every single Mayan pyramid, stairs, room at the top. Come on, let's go. Now, maybe the room at the top was not public access. I don't really know, or at least not all the time. I've been up there on various ones. Don't tell anybody, but oh, you get back up there, and you too. Good. This rock, I stole it from inside this room. There's a better, yeah. Back in 2001, I went up here for my second time. I was there in the year 2000, and I went back in 2002, with my wife, soon-to-be wife at that time. And up in here, I took this rock, and I took two others too, and I have one more downstairs in our bedroom. Yeah, so the Mayan highest shaman and the kings and queens, all of the kings and queens, all of the Mayan kings and queens were incredibly, whoops, my light thingy there. I've got one of those light thingies that just almost fell on us all. Oh my goodness. Had to move the cable. All right, I was enjoying that. I've never done that before. Look at the curve on this. It's like it was meant to go right there. Oh. All of the Mayan kings. Can you see up my nostrils? Oh. All of them, and all of the shaman, and all of the higher ranking people, and most of the general people had a very thorough knowledge of their calendrical systems. Now, the Tzolk'in is the only one I teach. It's 260 days. It's based on the 20 fingers and toes and the 13 joints of movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hip, knee, ankle, and the neck. So if you're counting from this side, you've got 6 and then 7th column, 7th chakras, 7 connects to the Pleiades. Then you've got 6 more on that side, and that's why 7th tonal is called reflecting. And the 9th is called patient. Now, part of that nomenclature is about the fact that humans, take 260 days to make a baby. Sperm and egg come together. 260 days later, approximately, baby comes out, which is 9 moons. You know, we say in the Western culture, English language, yeah, pregnancy's 9 months. Nobody really knows how long a month is because they're all different lengths. Oh, let me just settle back here. But 9 times 29 is 261. Now we know a full moon is 29.5 days, a full moon cycle. And 0.5 is very, very, very close to 12 hours. I think it's like 11 hours and 50 something, or 12 hours and 3 minutes, whatever. It's almost precisely 12 hours, which is cool. 29 and a half. So in a calendrical use, a lunar calendar, the very best lunar calendar would be 29 days, 30 days, 29, 30, 29, 30, 29, 30, infinity. And maybe after like 1,000 of those, you'd add one day or something, or do 229 days in a row, or 2 30-day months in a row. That's how a lunar calendar would work. And then every month you have a full moon and a new moon. There's no other way to do it. This whole blue moon is bullshit. That the it's a cute little name, and blue moon is a cute little song, but it's fucked up. It means we have a crappy calendar. The Roman Catholic Gregorian calendar replaced the Roman Catholic Julian calendar. Julius Caesar was accredited with making it, although pretty sure he didn't make it himself. Knowing those people. So yeah, July gets 31 days. And then Augustus, who came after Julius Caesar was murdered, by the way. So that's how you know Julius Caesar, the Julian calendar, didn't have August in it. So boom, their lie falls apart right there. But let's just pretend, blah, blah, blah. July and August get 31 days. It's the most important. And then that stupid month, February, only gets 28. But yeah, once in a while we'll make that one 29. Thank you, reptilians. It's the reptilian calendar. Duh. It's designed to separate humanity from reality. And so, by the way, is the Tzolk'in. And by that I mean the reality of our screwed up world right now. This, which is also this, without that fancy pants thing in the middle there, the Hunab Ku, the Rainbow Ku, the Rainbow Taurus Ku. Yeah? You good? You with me? All right. This came to Earth by way of the Pleiades, but this did not originate in the Pleiades. As I've said, it probably came, let's just say 5 billion years ago. 10 billion, yeah. This is older than time itself. This is a fractalizing device. Time is an illusion, although it's also real. And where was I? So any one day on here is a fractal of every other day. And this whole thing, 260 days, is a fractal of all time itself. There is one date carved on a Mayan pyramid that is 16.4 billion years ago, and it's a fractal of this. Okay, so you can take that date before the creation of the physical universe according to science, and I believe them because they're so smart. And also the precession of the equinoxes is a fractal of this. This is a fractal of that. Blah, blah, blah. So today, let's get back to today then, shall we? Where's that fancy? There it is. Yay. All right. So these guys are all fractals of each other. I am going to take this off now. It has absorbed into my bloodstream the LSD. Should put a little, there. Absorbed. These guys are all holy holograms of each other, as all humans are, of all other humans. And this is today, as I think I made clear. Patient is those 9 moons of gestation. And let me just give you all of the information here. Down we go. So, Bolon is the pronunciation in the Yucatan. And Ben is this funny little shape right here. Now, you see how I just expanded the screen? That's why I don't do this, because here you can't do that. You're stuck. So just stop doing that there. Then you have full control. Yay, thank you, Crispy. You're so welcome. It only took me like 2 years to figure that out. So yeah, the myth of the glyph. Thank you. Expansion capabilities. The myth of the glyph. 2 pillars of light coming from the heavens. 2 pillars of light coming from the heart crystal core of planet Earth. This is the Earth line. So all people born on this glyph are actually standing right here, and they're connecting the pillars of light from the heavens to the Earth. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Nice of them. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, intergalactic multidimensional Maya, for passing that along and calling it corn. So, tone 9, persevering. Can I get in there? No. All right, I was going to highlight and swipe, but there it is. Sacred femininity because of those 9 moons. All right, the moon because of the 9 moons. Steadying. It has this patient and steadying and resilient and persistent and enduring energy to it. You know, like think about a woman in their 9th month of pregnancy. That's what we're talking about here. That's the energy, all right? Patience. You got to be patient. What if you're not? Well, too bad. There's 2 words here, eyes on the prize and doorway. If you can't make the connection between a pregnancy and eyes on the prize and doorway, then let me just help you. 9, the day after 9 is 10. 2 hands, double digits, if you will. And so there, does that help you? All right, fine. Mastery, it's definitely in the umbrella of energies that go into Bolon, tone 9. And perhaps it's because these people have a level of endurance, and they have to preserve, and they have to get over their own ego of being impatient. Now let's take a look at the ego dramas. Yeah, impatience and just why bother, and then me, right? Okay, so that's there. It's part of it. Then, of course, there's corn. Now, corn is also called reed in some areas, cane in some areas, and bamboo, I believe some Maya referred to this glyph as, or at least included it within the umbrella of terms to which Ben covers. All of those, corn being primarily related to sustenance and the whole Mayan culture, and again, I'm using that 5,000 kilometer wide band from Real de Catorce down to Costa Rica-ish areas. Corn. Number one most important plant. The hero twins planted corn in their grandmother's, I want to say kitchen. It doesn't make sense to us Westerners because, the Maya lived outside. They lived in bamboo huts. I'm talking thousands of years ago, right up till about 200 years ago, when all the Christians and Catholics started forcing them to make houses because things were getting more and more dangerous. Going right up to like 50 years ago, 40 years ago, finally the regime, the Antichrist, hellish regime, convinced them to build houses, and the huts are gone now. They used to help each other build huts. You would build a hut that would last for 10 years, and then you would help your friends build another one. They would help you build one. It was a constant rebirthing and dying and growth, and it was community. Thatch roofed, bamboo and cane, reed. It was such a huge part of their houses, their culture, their family. The reed mats, they would weave reed mats to sleep on, to sit on, to pray on. It's just a nice comfy mat, that the Japanese use a rice for their tatami mats. It's a similar thing. You can sleep comfortably on a tatami mat for a while with a cushion, with a blankie, perhaps. Not sure if you know that. Did you know I live in Japan? Yes. I live in Hiroshima. It's a spiritual thing. So that's all your information, but let's just tune into the shadow challenges of corn. And it makes sense when you understand the family and guidance and the spine, the staff of authority. Look at the shadow challenges: spousal abuse, child abuse, Oedipal issues, all right? And then just total irresponsibility, and then far too much, what I say is the only way, So there you go. So for today, I have come up with these phrases, and in the shadow ego compartment, you could say impatient rigidity, for example, or spousal abuse gossip. Whoa, things like that. Okay. Now, I want to talk about, like I said, the past wisdom and the divine feminine, divine masculine, and the future vision guide of today. This is for all of our holy holograms. Each of them had these influences. This is 8 days ago. That's why we're on tone 8, because tone 1 began this pulse wave Let's go take a quick peek at that, shall we? Here it is. Come on up, pulse wave. So this started 8 days ago. Come here. And here we are today. 9 days ago, sorry. Well, yeah, 8 days ago. Yeah, because we're on day 9. Good. So it was 8 days ago it started. And 8 days before this day is the Past Wisdom Guide. Let's go back to that. So now the way the system works, the way the Mayan, the intergalactic multidimensional Mayan system works is that everyone who's born on tone 9 has 1, 2, 3, 4 in those order, and that's why I teach them in that order. Everyone who's born on corn has serpent, rainstorm, deer, and sunrise. And so just the numbers shift, right? And then everyone who's born on tone 9 has different glyphs here accordingly. And then everyone who's born today, which is Keen 113, go back over here to illustrate that. Here's all 260 days, and here is today, right here. This is very esoteric knowledge and not super crucial for the average person, but it's true, it's real, it's actual, and so is your DNA, and that's why I put it there. So the serpent to the Maya is incredibly powerful creature, one of their most powerful creatures that's on their calendar. And tone 1 has that force to push the energy all the way up to here. And here it takes a little breather. Reflecting is also about reflecting inside, looking around, pausing and reflecting, and then down we go. So tone 1 is very powerful, connects directly to the root chakra, and the serpent is all 7 chakras. We'll only talk about the 7. The Maya actually say there are 13, and other cultures say other things, and that's great. Oh, delicioso. So, to help illustrate this, I've gathered a collection of people. Before I start showing them, I'll just quickly run through. Tone 2 is the sacral chakra, and it's all about relationship, and especially the one-on-one variety, as you might be able to imagine. The rainstorm is the most divinely feminine associated glyph of the 20. And so these people, everyone born on corn, has rainstorm for their divine feminine. And it adds an enormous amount of femininity. Now, by the way, everyone who's born on rainstorm has corn as their divine masculine. And that should be blowing your mind. Okay? So what that means is for every single human being in existence, whomever your divine feminine glyph and tone are, you are their divine masculine. There's no other system in existence like this. This is the highest level integration. And you could think of it as just left and right brain if you want, because it is definitely that, and it's a lot of other things too. And I should mention at the same time that some people have corn, which is quite masculine, as their divine feminine. So some people's soft and gentle side is actually pretty solid. All right. So to the intergalactic, multidimensional Maya, everything is flowing and everything, there's no one template for any human being. There's 260 possible templates. And then, of course, you throw in your own gender and your own class issues and your own birth order. Are you the firstborn? Are you the seventh? Or somewhere in between, or eighth or ninth? Or some people have huge families, right? All of that comes into play. And then there's your trauma. What have you been through in this lifetime? All of that affects you, of course. The Maya say that your own choice in every moment is more important, more powerful than your astrology, your birthday. By the way, this is not astrology because there's no stars or planets here. This is DNA-ology, which is also personality-ology. All right. So this is why I say the Divine Mayan Tzolk'in calendar is in this earth, but not of it. This is unlike any other system in existence. Okay. So if you want a new perspective on yourself and on other people, like these people, it is undeniable that these people are holy holograms of each other. They are fractals of each other. Their energetic patterns are identical in some ways. Okay? So let's go back to a little bit more about this. Then you go from 1 to 2 to 3. Tone 3 is actually quite feminine as well. It is directly connected to the kitchen and nurturance and providing food and a sort of communication and jovial nature. They are my favorite key code word for all tone 3 people is busy, busy, busy. They can't stop moving, basically. Other people see them as restless, but they just need to rest less. That's the way they are. Then we've got deer, which looks like a hand, because it is. It's the protective hand. So here you've got a very strongly protective, feminizing influence. All right? For all these peeps. Ooh, they're too big. All right. Hi, Jim. I'm going to send you the link to this video. Oh, I already did, and that's why you're watching it. Right, sorry. Time shift. That's a funny thing about the whole time machine debate. You know, there's like all these books and all these movies about time machines. And right now, here we are today, 2024, December, what is it? The 11th, thank you. 10 days till the solstice. Oh, awesome, excitement. Here's the thing about the whole time machine debate. If time machines were ever created, then they would be here right now. Because if you make them in the future, then they're here now too. And because they're not here now, you know that they were never made. They have never been made. They can never be made. It's not possible. The fourth dimension, which is time, is meant to be transcended. You don't get in a machine to do that, dum dum. The machine is your DNA. So we're transcending the fourth dimension, which is part of fourth density, by the way. Back to Big Jim here. You need to study Law of One and what it says about densities, fourth density, the green ray, the heart chakra. All right. So yeah, then the heart chakra is brought into play. This is the solar plexus. Heart chakra is brought into play with tone 4. And isn't it nice to have a stabilizing sunrise? Ooh, that is Sunday the 22nd, by the way. Right in between here. Oh, no, wait a sec. I forget. Let's go check. My brain. Come on, brain. Where are you at? Oh, there we are. Yes. No, okay. 19th right here. 8 days from today. Duh. Me and math. It's funny that I'm a Mayan astrologer because me and math is just, I don't know. So yeah, there's the solstice. 10 days from today. And reflecting seed starts the whole new cycle, if you will. So now I will inform you as to who are the holy holograms of these positions. Actually, let's get me, maybe, okay. Fine, there I am. Let's see if we can go to Initiating Serpent. Oh, look at this guy. Oscar Wilde started things off 8 days ago. Oh. He was a wild one. Oh my. And I think, I'm not going to open up the charts or anything, but I think he gave in to his shadow side a lot. And it killed him, basically. I talked about that in other places. A long post about him. So yeah, all of these lovely people had some of this type of energy in there. You could say Past Wisdom Guide is your first 13 years of life. In general, it is where your foundational energies are encoded through here. All right, and then you've got from age 13 up to 39, you've got 26 years to integrate the feminine and masculine. And now that we know these things, we can start doing that. None of us knew this at that time. I didn't even know this stuff till about 8 years ago. I mean, I had looked at Kenneth Johnson's book, Jaguar Wisdom, back in 1999, where these things were explained. Not very well, I would say, because it used a system of representation that was really not accurate. And by that I mean it's also called the Mayan cross. And it's accurate in a way that it's got these two guides in the same place and then one above and one below, and you can't tell which is past or which is future, and you have to do all this pretending and stuff, and it doesn't, most importantly, show you that there's a relationship between all of them, and it makes no mention of this 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern here. So I looked at his book in 1999 and just couldn't grok it. And then about 2015, I started back in, and sometime in, I believe, 2016, I had my download where I was meditating and got zapped with this blah, 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 blah. So, as I said, right hand side, facts. Your past is memory. And we do attach emotion to it. Absolutely. Most of us far, 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 far too much. And then let's move on. We come down to tone 2 on the feminine side. Oh my goodness, would you look at this? This is 6 days from now, by the way. Today is Keen 113. So 6 days from now, second day of the next pulse wave, obviously. And if you just do your math, what's 1 before 19 is 18. The 18th glyph is the obsidian knife mirror. So these 3 are the second day of the obsidian knife mirror pulse wave. All right. Again, the sacral chakra, the pairing, the closeness, the intimacy, I think, for which these 3 are well known among other talents, skills, abilities, propensities. And as I said, rainstorm is the most connected to the divine feminine of all 20 glyphs. So 1 serpent, 2 rainstorm, 3, do you remember the hand, the deer? Come on, let's go. Next. Ooh, this you might recall was 6 days ago if you follow my work, and why wouldn't you? Seriously. It's as easy as pie to follow. And it's pretty high vibrations, right? I think it's just what the doctor ordered for these days and these times. Have you read Carlos Castaneda? All of his books are from Don Juan Matus, his teacher, the shaman, the Toltec shaman, which is Mayan. I'm telling you, they voluntarily gave up their connection to the Tzolk'in and hiked 300 miles north and were uninfluenced by any other cultures for those 500 years until very recently. And we're glad for that. They developed piercing wisdom teachings that so crucial. With Don Jose Ruiz, you need his information. And you should read all of these books as well. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have an interesting character to bring in the future. Wouldn't you love to have this guy for your future vision guide? Well, you do, in a way. The Mayan saying, Een Lak'esh alakin, means I am another you. You are another me. We are one God-sciousness. That's what it means. We are all God, okay? And therefore, you are every day of this. Every day, you are these. And therefore, today, this is your future vision guide. Isn't that awesome? Boy, If you haven't read Stranger in a Strange Land, you do not grok what's really going on right now. All right. So, yes. Now we're going to move on a little bit to the upcoming 10 days from today, 12-year anniversary of December 21st, 2012. And 10 days from today is this day, balancing dusk. And I think it's so cool that dusk really represents the whole time of a day when the sun is not in the sky. So dusk could also be called night, and it is in some areas, and some areas even call it dawn. But dusk, night, and dawn means no sun is in the sky. Dusk, the sun has just set. You can't see the sun. Sun's gone. And so dusk lasts like 45 minutes, right? An hour. Then you've got the night. Then you've got, here comes the dawn for about an hour, and then beep, sun comes up. So the solstice this year, balancing dusk, balancing the dusk, night, and dawn. Oh, and we've got a very high vibration group of people to holy hologram that in for you. Here are all of the key code words for that day. Third eye chakra, flowing. So you could say flowing dusk, night, dawn, equilibrium dusk, night, dawn, stability dusk, night, dawn, balanced family dusk, night, dawn, realistic dusk, night, dawn, practical dusk, night, dawn, organic dusk, night, dawn, joining dusk, night, dawn, equality dusk, night, dawn, and synchronicity dusk, night, dawn. Then you'd have to do all the rest of them. Flowing transitions, equilibrium transitions. That's how these all fit together, my friends. Each one of these key code words, starting with balancing and dusk, and then dusk, night, dawn. Each one of those key code words is a thread. And when you thread them all together, you get one day. Okay? That's what's happening here. Linguistically, energetically, philosophically, these key code words represent vibrational threads of meaning, and all of them go together. I have just put a few playful ones here for you. Equilibrium through transition, synchronistic dreams, realistic hope, flowing romance. But all of them go together, all right? Here's the last set. Synchronicity, dusk, night, dawn. Synchronicity transitions and transitional synchronicities. They go both ways, all right? Some of these make more sense in the other direction. But one thing you will notice about Mayan embodiment is the titles or names for all of the tones are the modifier grammatically. They're called a gerund or gerund, some people call them. The ing form of a noun modifying the noun. Balancing dusk. And sometimes you could say dusky balance, for example, all right? When we're weaving these together. So synchronistic transitions, transitional synchronicity, duality, synchronicity, synchronicity within duality. And you can add a little word like within. Synchronistic dreams, intuitional synchronicity, hopeful synchronicity. Synchronicity provides hope. Synchronicity reveals renewal. Synchronicity enhances romance. Synchronicity reveals mystery. Synchronistic secrets or secret synchronicities. But you shouldn't keep your secrets. No, wait, you shouldn't keep your synchronicities a secret. Tell us all about it. Synchronistic truth. The truth about synchronicity. Synchronicity within polarity. Polarity reveals synchronicity sometimes, right? The synchronistic night owl. Potential synchronicity. Synchronicity reveals potential. And here I'm going to say synchronicity reveals potential romance. See what I just did there? So it's not just one thread in one thread. Okay. Synchronistic dwelling. Synchronistic sanctuary. Sanctuary provides synchronicity. Synchronicity within Shibalba. And if you don't know what Shibalba is, get busy. Google it. Now, it's important, I feel, to acknowledge, recognize, even embrace the shadow ego. So let's go through these together. Unbalanced misery. Unbalanced control issues, unbalanced hopelessness, and hopeless unbalance or imbalance. Hopeless imbalance. Wow. Totally shy and miserable. Oh my goodness. Totally shy control issues. Okay. Totally shy and hopeless. Now, no intuition / hyperactive imagination are the polarities of the same energy. Not all ego dramas or shadow challenges have a polarity within them. Because, for example, I wouldn't put a shadow challenge of misery and ecstasy. That just doesn't make sense at all. But regarding tone 6, when you understand what it represents, this is the third eye chakra, okay? And it's the ability or propensity to be on display, as it were, to get up there on the rollabola. Why would you do that? Why would you step on a rollabola? It could be for personal practice out in your backyard like I do, but out in public, it's to get noticed, obviously. So tapping into the third eye chakra, the related ego dramas are no intuition. And the polar opposite is just super hyper active imagination. So to weave these together, no intuition combined with misery. So miserable lack of intuition, for example. Control issues with no intuition, or blocked intuition leads to control issues, for example. All right. Now, these are subtle, and I work on them with my clients on an individual basis. No intuition can lead to hopelessness. Then you've got the hyperactive. Hyperactive imagination can lead to misery. All right. If you're developed in these fear-based society, if all of your imaginations are fear-based, you're going to be miserable. Hyperactive imagination leads to control issues. All right, you're trying to lock down your reality as much as you can with other people, basically, also yourself. What you allow yourself to do or not do. And then, similar to misery, hyperactive imagination can lead to hopelessness. You just feel completely victimized, basically. That's what that's saying to me. So yes, all of these are present on that day, the 12-year anniversary of 2012. And oh, yes, I did throw the calendar in here for you, for me, for us on that day. I am selling the calendar for the following year. I've got it all right here. It includes lots of information. Oh, let me take me over to the side. Yes. So here's December. That's the whole year next year, and it includes every single key code word of every glyph and every tone. So you're going to know a lot of things if you order this calendar that people who don't order this calendar don't know. So why not? Where was I? Back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so one of the things that happened, one of the confusing things that happened leading up to 2012. 2012, it was frustrating for a lot of people. It was disappointing for a lot of people. It was like very, very few people experienced what they were hoping they would, or what was built up to. And part of that is because of what I call the dork farces, the farces of dorkness. They hijacked 2012 and they started doing it, before, I would say before the year 2000, they set in, because movies were made quickly after the year 2000 to add terror and fear and all of the negative emotions to the 2012 year, based on the Mayan predictions. It got into many movies and a couple of TV shows. And oddly enough, one of the major proponents to confusion and lies and even fear about what 2012 represented was the dream spell. And I'm going to do a little diatribe about the dream spell. If you don't know anything about it, good. You're lucky. Holy cow. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it now. It was created by a man who was born in America, in New York State, I believe. And that was his birth name. Very, well, there's a Spanish, yes, Arguelles, but his birth name was Joseph Anthony Arguelles. And he later, sometime before he published his first book, changed his own name. And it's unclear if he actually changed it legally or just published as a published name. I don't think he actually did. I'm not sure what his passport ever said, or his driver's license. But so it's funny, but Jose Arguelles is an illusion. It wasn't his real name. Ha! Kind of like Crispy Matters. And I'm very, 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 very aware that I am playing a character called Crispy Matters when I do so. Um, so yeah, anyway, continuing on. I did meet Jose. He came up to Vancouver. I believe he was living in Portland for quite some time. He came up to do a workshop, and I explained this very clearly in a video that I will mention later, so I don't need to go into it, but I did spend 3 days with him at the workshop, and there was a connection. I did the Mayan handshake with him, where I grabbed his hand, we made that shape, and then we stacked both our hands on top of each other, and I looked him right in the eye. And I said, "Thank you for all that you've done." And I was being honest and facetious because I already knew the dream spell was totally fake. And here's what I knew. First of all, he called himself Valum Votan, or Votan, Valum Votan. Why did he call himself that? Well, it's interesting that the origin of the Votan story only began in the late 17th century, so 1690-ish or whatever, by Spanish Catholics, bishop. The Maya didn't use that name. The Spanish Catholics brought it into the system. And association of Votan with Palenque have led New Age spiritual leader Jose Arguelles to identify Cacao the Great as Cacao Votan and to identify himself as an emanation of Valum Votan. However, no mention of Votan has been found in the inscriptions of Palenque, despite considerable progress in the decipherment of the extensive Mayan inscriptions known for the site. So he made up the name Cacao Votan, and he made up the name Valum Votan, and he actually made up the name Jose Arguelles. So, wow, what an interesting character. And here's all the things he made up about the dream spell. First of all, everyone has the wrong birthdays. It has the inclusion of war memes, warrior and Skywalker. The inclusion of wrong cultural memes. Wizard. Do you think there's wizards in Mexico? Guatemala? Are there wizards? There's no dragon either. There's Quetzalcoatl, which is the feathered serpent. No arms, legs, or claws, and no fire breathing. So, no, wrong culture. The day out of time is wrong. It was chosen by the Spanish Catholic conquistador on a hell-bent mission of destruction. He was wrong at that time. He did not understand the Mayan calendar. His local group in that region finished the hub and then had a day before they began the next hub. But he didn't understand it. It was wrong. It was July 25th that year. And so Jose latched onto that date and made it the day out of time, which is wrong. It's not a day out of time. How can you possibly have a day out of time? A day out of time is impossible. Okay. It's like saying a day out of space, a day out of physical matter. It's like saying a day with no gravity. It's like saying a day with no existence. And the funny thing is, Jose went around saying, the Gregorian calendar is poison. It's so evil. It controls you. And they also claim the dream spell to be sacred and based on a 13-20 ratio. Both of those are completely fake because their real day out of time is every February 29th, the leap year day. They stop the dream spell. There's no day on that day. Well, they call it Zero Hunab Ku Day, and they say it's not a glyph and it's not a tone. And the pattern that makes is this. So you've got 4 of these, and then the 5th one stops on this day. And if I can zoom in here for you, it's the monkey day. Because the way the math works out, if you take 4 years of 365 days, and you multiply that together, that's 5.5 of these almost. And the 1 extra day is always on a monkey day. So block, stop, shifted over. And you got 4 more of those, 5 more of those and a half, and then block, shifted over. Block, shifted over. And that's the pattern it makes. So by calling it Zero Hunab Ku, the Hunab Ku is, like I say in every ceremony, the one and only giver of movement and measure. Everything in existence is moving. Okay? The spiral. Everything is spiraling around the great central sun and black hole at the epicenter of the omniverse, and that is obviously the point at which everything will eventually reconverge, and then everything will expand outwards again. That is the in-breath and out-breath of Hunab Ku. Measure is consciousness, awareness, measurement. This is measure. Movement is the spiral. Measurement is consciousness. The Hunab Ku is the one and only creator of all movement and all consciousness. Great central sun, black hole, epicenter. Got it. The Hunab Ku is the maker and modeler of all things physical and all things non-physical, just to cover everything. It is the heart of earth and it is the heart of sky, once again covering everything. And the heart of humanity. Oh, isn't that nice? That's the Hunab Ku. And the dream spell says, every February 29th is Zero Hunab Ku Day. Such a fucking joke. Oh my God. It's so hilarious. So when you add in things like the warrior and Skywalker and fighting against the evil, but then they tell you the Gregorian calendar is evil, but they're permanently attached to the Gregorian calendar, so it's like stabbing yourself in the eye with a lightsaber. Ow! So a lot of people love it. Ego loves it. The ego is conflict. The ego is separation, anxiety. The ego is fear. The ego thrives on conflict. The ego cannot possibly live without conflict. When things are peaceful, the ego gets uncomfortable and goes and disrupts things, knocks over a bong full of water and breaks it and gets glass and that shitty water all over the shag carpet, of life. So yeah, that's the ego. That's the dream spell. I mean, here's the Mayan calendar and here's the dream spell. It's like, hello, pay attention. It's pretty simple. Now, this word I created, this is a neologism. Neologism. Oh yeah. Sorry. Faconicity refers to the fact that by giving everyone the wrong birthday, okay? Everyone has the wrong birthday. And then you inject warriors and skywalkers and wizards and dragons in it. It's all just a fucking mess in your mind. And then they create different patterns than these, but they connect people, right? And so you go look on the website, and finally, after integrating your own birthday, and they've got all these silly poems and then you go look at, for example, your best friend or your wife or husband or your mommy or your daddy, and then you go, oh my goodness, look, I have the blah, 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 blah. No, you don't. It's completely fake. Every single birthday on the dream spell is wrong. And there's that every 4 years it falls out of phase farther and farther. So here's where it would work, okay? Keep in mind, they're all wrong. But in this 4-year period, starting here and ending there, all of those birthdays would be in harmony with each other. But as soon as you have one person born here and one person born after February 29th, faconicity, harmony is destroyed. First of all the birthdays are wrong to begin with. And then as soon as you go past a February 29th, if someone's born on February 28th and someone's born on March 1st, there's no connection. It's wrong, all of it. It is a perfect example of a false light teaching. It is fantastic. It is one of the best jobs of the farces of dorkness. It's a perfect example of the dork farces. It takes something that is sacred, holy, and divine, which is from another multiverse, okay? The intergalactic multidimensional Maya. Hello. It's sacred, holy, and divine. And it just pisses and shits all over it. And then spray paints it with gold and adds some sprinkles and translates it into every language around the world. And sells it. Lots and lots of calendars. Oh, yeah. So much fun. Now, here's one thing you need to know. The 3-day weekend that I met Jose, his wife at the time, which was his third wife, Lloydine, was there. And as I explain in my video, which is here, Dream Spell Masterclass in Truth, please watch it. This document is in there. This document can be found on Scribed. All right, I'm just going to read a little bit for you. Today is a day for me to reflect on my life as a woman who took on her husband's name and identity. I married Jose Arguelles on September 21st, 1983. It has now been almost 7 years since I left my marriage and became a divorced woman, choosing to live alone. I never made a public statement with regard to the ending of my marriage. Now that Jose's current wife, Stephanie South, has written a biography, 2012, The Biography of a Time Traveler, I'm called forth to speak my truth. 7 years ago, I became a practitioner of Falun Dafa. Not sure why she's mentioning that. Doesn't really matter. And then she passes the baton to Jose's second wife, Miriam, and father of his children, Tara and Josh. Miriam, has much less positive things to say. For example, I wish to say very little with regard to Jose's recollections of our son Josh, who died 22 years ago. Jose has created a storyline about Josh that fits very conveniently into the mythos of Jose the Avatar and Prophet. I'm speaking for myself in this piece, but I feel I can say with considerable confidence that most members in Jose's family, siblings, stepchildren, past partners, and particularly his daughter and her young family, would be in complete agreement with my response. This is a significant fact to understand this time traveler and visionary. I would imagine that for most students of history and evolution, they would want to look at and scrutinize very closely any individual who professes to understand global history and humanity, let alone holds a unique and powerful vision for the future of humankind. This doesn't mean that Jose cannot be seen as a visionary. Not all visionaries are, by definition, kind and loving family members. And on and on. Basically, okay, simply put, Jose was delusional if he felt he was doing things right. He failed his second family test with selfishness, responsibility, as well as reckless endangerment. Okay, I'm not going to go on. It's there for you to find it. It's also in my video. You can screenshot it. I'll let you screenshot this right now if you want. All right, here we go. Boom. I'm out of here. My. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, a lot of details in there. And now I want to get back to one of our holy holograms of the day. This is a screenshot from my video in which I talked about her quite a bit. And I did one of my new favorite things to do, which is called Who Are You? And in the Who Are You throw, let me just bring this one up. It's a little easier, a little more clear, hopefully. This is the Who Are You throw, which also came to me in a dream. I got the idea for it. In a waking dream, as I woke in the morning, it just was, boom, there it is, use this one. And that was like a month ago, and I started using them right away, dutifully. And I really feel that what comes through is a deep and close look at who people are. It's based on another spread that I created. See if I can get in there. There you are. Boo boo. That one came to me many years ago. over 5 years ago. You can see it's similar. But with regards to one single person, the who are you is very specific. And I truly love doing these. It's such a high vibration situation. And, if you know the tarot, hopefully you do, or if not, go ahead and research it. One of the ways you can do that, by the way, is through the law of one, the raw material. Their website, as I've mentioned in other videos, has a wonderful segment on the tarot, which I'm just riffing here. I haven't memorized things because that's not my way. But my understanding of the whole raw material is that raw is a collective consciousness. They call themselves a social memory complex. For me, that means collective consciousness of souls who used to be individualized on the planet Venus. Over 2 billion years ago. Okay, they were harvested. Those who did graduate, as it were, into harvestability, which I believe in our modern parlance means went 5D or went totally into service to other. And here's another thing. By totally, I mean 51%. 51% means totally. It doesn't mean 49% of the time you're a fucking asshole. Or even just a little bit of an asshole. Yeah, most of it. But barely 51. Can I help you? No. It means flick. Switch is flicked. That's what 51 means. It means decision made. It means doorway stepped through. It means we're not going back. That's what 51% means, okay? No one else is saying that. I'm telling you that. So it means full commitment to service to other. That means personal ego dissolved, gone. I do nothing for myself. I'm doing it all for you, which includes the paradox of that includes me. Okay? So it is through helping you and you and you and you and you and all of you, helping everything in existence, meaning the earth and bugs and worms. I'm a particular fan of worms. Ever since my early childhood, I have rescued every worm I've ever seen on the sidewalk, going, oh fuck, what happened? I go over, dig a little hole in the dirt, spit in the dirt, and put them in. I've been doing that since I was like 3. It's just my thing. Where was I? So yeah, study the tarot. Ra, the collective consciousness of ascended, graduated souls, harvested souls from Venus, brought the tarot to Earth. And they brought it to Egypt and gave it to them. And I think it may have only been the 22 major arcana that they brought. And then the standard deck of cards that, well, 13 by 4 is 52, but they had 14. Somehow 14 made it in. There's the Knight is the extra card. You got the King, you got the Queen. In between the Jack and the King and Queen, or the what do they call this guy? I'm gapping. Is the night. All right. And then the other 1 up to 10. So yeah, that's part of the history of the tarot. But what I'm going to do for you now is read a little bit of Amorah Quan Yin's very first book. I believe it was her first. Actually, I have her first and third or second and third here. Her first book might have been this one. No. Her first book, I believe, was the Pleiadian Workbook, which I have over here. If you really want to see it, I'll show you. Deeply influential, and you can get it very easily. I'm just opening up my internet thingy. More into Amazon, and let me go back to sharing. Okay, here we are. So here are her other 3 books. Yeah, I believe, let's go into this one and we'll read now, and I'll just go right into the page 1 or whatever. Does it say the year published in here? Oh, Bear and Company, thank you. Maybe not. Yeah, I think that page is not in there. Let's see if I can check out on the back. $1996. No, not sure. Oh, copyright 1996. All right, enough. Oh, cool thing is in here about the author, November 30th, 1950. Ooh, let's go into Crispy's website and see if he did it right. 1950, November 30th. Now, my site always shows you today, no matter where you are. So I'm going to do 1950, November 29th, because I want it to go to a different day than today. Okay, so here's today, and now it's doing the calculations for you, which will be 1 day before. No, wait. November 1050. She was not born in the year 1050. Well, she might have been, for all I know, at some other time. There, that's yesterday. 8, Harmonizing Traveler. Now we'll put back in 30, because if you put in the same day and then you click submit and nothing changes, then you just go, what is this thing working? And so if you want to see what I already showed you, there's that. And if you want to see this, there's that, just the simple version for you. And I spell it out. I do a couple of paragraphs for you. And then there's that. For each and every one of the 260 days, you get all that wonderful information. Isn't that special? Stopping share. So 1996, did we say? Is that what we said? Let's see what this one says. 1996, also unknown. Was it her first book? Hard to say. They both would have had to have been being written around the same time. So let's see what she says, they say about Venus. This book will blow your mind. Why don't you have it? Silly. Seriously. Part 1, Colonization of Venus. 17, page 17. Colonization of Venus. following story is channeled directly from Ra. Did I mention the connection between these two? Okay, oh wait. I think I have to share screen. Am I sharing screen right now? I don't think so. Oh my God, I need to share screen. Did I mention the connection between these two? All right, well, here goes a little deeper. And stop share. Thank you. Actually, don't look at me. Just listen to me. All right? There you go. Before this solar system was inhabited by self-aware physical life forms, some of the planets were breeding grounds for bacterial and amoebic life, as well as plant species. We, the Pleiadian emissaries of light, were the caretakers and grew many kinds of trees, flowers, shrubs, herbs, vining plants, and sea vegetation, as well as simple life forms. What you call herbs, we call signature plants. This name is derived from the fact that this particular group of plants was genetically engineered to carry specific geometric creation signatures that have the ability to align or realign their environments to match their signatures. Your botanical group, entitled signature plants, is quite different from our use of this term. Earth's scientists refer to obvious physical appearance of plant structure as reasons for designation as a signature plant, whereas we refer only to the cellular geometric creation signature as the criteria for this designation. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit into the humanoid introduction. Now she's channeling a woman called Armada. Oh, sorry, no. Now she's talking about the Armada of Andromeda. Earth. Okay, back it up, sorry. Other planets have also served as breeding and testing grounds in addition to Earth. In fact, Venus was the first planet other than Earth in this solar ring to be inhabited. Solar ring is our name for the solar system. Venus, Mars, and then Maldek were developed and first populated with bacteria and amoebic strains, then with plants, and ending with flowering plants and trees. Skipping forward, Earth was the last planet in your solar ring to be impregnated, so to speak, with animal species, as the divine plan for habitation and spiritual evolution unfolded. And then the Armada of Andromeda. Prior to the preparation of the varying planets, prior to the preparation of the varying planets for mobile life forms, a group of angelic beings from Andromeda had requested the opportunity to experience self-motivation and sovereignty. When this request was approved by the hierarchies for this galaxy, by the androgynous supreme being named An, and by the Elohim, higher council of 12, a plan was set into motion. This plan, which we have called the Armada of Andromeda, laid out planetary laws for those who would be born into physical forms and was agreed upon by An, the higher council of 12, and then the angels, or future humanoids. This was not the first time an entire group of beings had made such a request. Other galaxies had experienced similar transitions, as serving angels and other beings had made choices for their own devolutionary learning experiences and succeeded. They wanted to experience creativity, sensation, and emotions, and not just continue serving and following instructions. This desire is a normal part of evolution and awakening for many groups of beings. though not all. What was unique about this plan was that the angelic group mutually agreed not to have a hierarchical being or beings embodied to rule them. They wanted to evolve enough to rule themselves. They wanted to start out as sovereign beings, learning through experience. This created quite a stir throughout existence, as it had previously been believed and upheld that it was both impossible and unethical for beings not to be ruled by higher-ups. Some of the angels decided to remain in etheric form and serve as plant devas and future animal devas, and to assist in maintaining the necessary food chain and atmospheric conditions. Other angels volunteered to take turns being guides and guardian angels for each other, while those who chose to incarnate did so. Since the planetary orbits and weather conditions had been stabilized prior to the forming of the physical Venusian race, there was little need for concern or supervision on those levels beyond what was already maintained by light beings from the galactic center and from Alcyone, the central sun of the Pleiades. Alcyone had been chosen long before as the main control and monitoring station for life forms in your solar ring, so it was natural to continue in that role. I just read 4 paragraphs, all right? That was page about half of 17, half of 18, and half of 19, okay? So I think you need this book. I should do a study group with this book. Oh, wow, yeah. The way I read is to get involved. Let's just do I'm going to do a closing out book divination. What else do we need to know from this book right now? Chemical triggered disasters, year 25,980. Once again, Pleiadian emissaries of light came to the planet, this time joined by Andromedan emissaries of light and hierarchical members of the Seraphim origins from beyond the Milky Way. Wow. All right, so if you want to keep believing in your little micro version of reality in which we're the only planet in existence and there's no other life in the universe, why would you even be watching this? That's not even possible. Okay, fine. You've graduated to believing in ETs and other things, which I think most people have now. I mean, the government's saying, if they knew about ETs, there would be mass weirdness, and they're completely wrong. They're withholding information that they've had for hundreds, if not thousands of years, because they are the aliens. Duh. Anyway, what I'm telling you is this is multidimensional and intergalactic, okay? So if you want to continue following the tropical version of the 12 astrological sign thing, go ahead. It's created by Babylonian toxic priests injected with Greco-Roman toxic masculinity, and it will firmly attach you to 3D. You can't escape. Sorry! If you do shift to sidereal or actual sky measurements and include Ophiuchus, great, major shift, but then you've still got Greco-Roman Babylonian myths holding you down. So yeah. None of that in here. Hee. Cool. All right, so closing it out now. By lighting this sacred sage, I'm giving thanks to all of the glyphs and tones of the divine Mayan Zolk'in calendar. I'm also giving thanks to the intergalactic multidimensional Maya. I am cleansing myself of any negative energies, and I am cleansing you of any negative energies you may have experienced from this video. I love you with all of my heart. Een Lak'esh, Alakim, Namaste.